In this House of Logic video, we're going to demonstrate the best practices for running Windows within Proxmox. To do this, we're going to do a Windows installation. I'm not going to force you to sit through the entirety of that. And then we're going to set up the correct drivers to use with the hypervisor. So first things first, what we've actually done in advance is we've got hold of a Windows 10 ISO, which you can download from Microsoft. So we're using the evaluation version here. And we've also downloaded the VirtIO drivers that we'll need later on as part of this. So you can get that from pve.proxmox.com/wiki/windows_VirtIO drivers. And there's a link halfway down the page to the VirtIO installation ISO. So we've downloaded both of those, and we've got the Windows 10 and the VirtIO ISOs uploaded to local storage on the Proxmox machine, ready to run the installation. So we'll go over to the config page here for the host, and we're going to create a virtual machine. And we'll call this one Windows 10. And we don't need to worry about the resource pool, but we'll go into OS, and we're going to choose from there the Windows 10 ISO, and we'll set that to Microsoft Windows, and we are going to set that for being Windows 10, and we're not going to add an additional drive for VirtIO drivers. We'll do that one once the operating system has come up. So the system-wise, we can accept most of the defaults there. We're going to go with a straightforward BIOS, and we'll use the VirtIO SCSI control. Actually, we'll go with that. We'll see if that one works. And we're going to enable it for the Qemu Agent, which will install as part of this process. So for the disks, I think we're going to need more than that for a Windows 10. I think we'll hazard a guess. Let's go with 80. That should do the job. And because this is a lab environment, we'll take the write back option, which should give us some better performance. We could go with the write back unsafe, in fact, but let's just go with straightforward write back for that. Over to CPU, I would always use at least 2 cores on any modern operating system. I tend not to go too far beyond that in terms of virtualized machines. And for CPU, certainly on this quite old machine, we're going to go with the host setting, which is effectively a pass-through mode. And we can now hit next. And in fact, we can go with 4096 to give it 4 gig of RAM, which is not the biggest in the world, but it will certainly do the job. And we'll use VMware 0. And for the network card, we're going to go with VirtIO Para-Virtualized. And we can now hit next. And the next step, we are going to then hit finish, and that should start it up. Oh, sorry, that should finish the configuration. Now we can start it up. So let's go to the console. When that's ready, there we go, and hit console on that. Start on there, and then console for the no VNC session, which should start us up now. Okay, that's not connecting, so let's try again. And there we go. We may need to correct the boot order on this, but let's just give it a second. Okay, I've cut a section out of the video there, but I didn't actually have to change any settings. It did just actually take a few seconds for that to come up. It's worth mentioning that this is it's running on quite an old piece of hardware, so that may have had some bearing on it. I'm not absolutely certain. Okay, now what we can do is we can choose our correct input methods. So we'll go with UK keyboard. and we'll go through the installation process, which, all being well, I'll go as far as the disk configuration, and then we can skip ahead with it. Now, I don't have a product key on this one because, as I said, this is a trial installation, and we're going to go with Pro. Yeah, let's go with the Pro edition. I can never remember what the Pro N stands for, but we'll go with Pro. Right, we'll accept the terms and go next, and we have to go with a custom installation. Okay, so it's detected the disk. This is if you don't get as far as actually being able to read the disk, then you're not going to be able to do an installation. Hit the next button. Sorry, hit the new button to create the partition. You can apply at this point, and it will create any extra additional partitions. If you've been through the Windows installation, you're probably already skipping ahead at this point, but we can go next. We'll let that run through, and then what we'll do is we will cut ahead to where that's completed. Okay, so this is just completing the Windows installation. I've actually cut out some of the information and set up as part of the process. We're installing as a limited user account because we only have the VirtIO virtual network adapter installed, and that doesn't come as part of the driver setup as part of Windows 10. And I'm fairly sure it doesn't for Windows 11 either. It certainly doesn't for the server operating systems. So this is a necessary step. You're going to have to create a local user in order to connect if you're going to use the VirtIO drivers. You may get away with a more standard style installation if you're using one of the others, such as the Realtek virtualized adapter. But hopefully it should allow you to get through to the desktop, where you can then install the rest of the drivers. So I'm going to leave that running now and cut ahead in terms of the rest of the recording in a few moments. Okay, just when I'd almost given up hope of it being done this side of midnight, it has it's finally finished. So what we can see if we connect to the machine, we've still got the Windows installation ISO present there. What we need to do, we've got no networking down here, no option to do so, is we need to go back onto our hypervisor. We'll go and find the hardware setup, find the sorry, not the hard disk. We want to go to the CD/DVD drive, and we'll swap that one out, and we'll choose the VirtIO driver. So back to the Windows desktop now. This has got VirtIO showing up, and what we need to do is we need to choose the correct one for the operating system. So we are a 64-bit OS in this case. So in the root of the VirtIO ISO that you can download, you'll find the VirtIO Win driver installation, and you can basically click through, accept all the defaults, accept everything, and basically click install and let it do its thing. As you can see, it's actually already picked up a network, so we can say yes to that, and we've picked up an IP address, I'm pretty sure already. So let's open up command prompt and have a look. If we do ipconfig, which is not exactly responding in its most speedy way, but it is accurate. So if we try now a ping to the gateway 192.168.5.1, that should get a response. So we have networking up and running. Let's see what it says here. Finish button to finish the setup. Okay, that's great. There's one other thing that you really should install as part of the VirtIO ISO, which is in the guest agent folder. Now, this is the Qemu guest agent. So if we click through in here, again, you can basically accept the defaults. And this is going to allow you to expose guest level information and make use of all of the good hypervisor drivers, guest services stuff equivalent, which is the one from Hyper-V. Or VMware tools is the equivalent in VMware, and it allows for information such as IP addresses to be surfaced into the hypervisor, as you can see there. So that's already been picked up. If we go back to the host again, But there's other things like memory drivers, etc., which will allow you to get more memory usage out of the hypervisor in general. So that's actually finished. Personally, I think I would reboot that machine straight after the installation. But once you're done, you can close that down and exit from your command prompt window. And then what you should be going to do is, before you forget to do it, is to go and find the ISO on there and set that to not use any media. That way you don't have any dependencies on that local storage if you decide to move it around at all. So that's about it. That is how to set up, for best practices, the Windows machine within Proxmox. Always install the Qemu Agent, and if you're using the VirtIO drivers, make sure you get those installed as well. That's about it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if that's your kind of thing. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time. Thanks very much. Bye now.